Welcome to Growing Your Team, a podcast designed for small business owners seeking to grow their company with the help of employees and contractors. Your time is limited, which means growing and leveraging teams is essential for business success. The Growing Your Team podcast is the place to learn tips and techniques designed to help you know when it's the right time to hire, how to select perfect fit team members, and how to maximize productivity while creating a positive work environment. Drawing from her 10-plus years of leadership and hiring experience, here is your host, Jamie Van Kuyk.
Hello, Jamie Van Kuyk here, and welcome back to the Growing Your Team podcast. Today, I'm going to share a little bit about some exciting things that happened with growing your team over the summer that resulted in me having my highest revenue month and being able to fully serve my clients. Well, I spent the month of July traveling, taking multiple days off per week, and really putting family first instead of work first. And I'm going to share with you the 3 things that I did to make this possible and how you can repeat these actions within your business. So that way you can have a business that is producing you income, producing revenue, producing sales, with you being able to work less and still provide the same things to your clients. Okay, so let's jump into the 3 things. So one of the things you might or might not know about me yet is I am a planner. I plan out everything. I create to-do lists. I'm always thinking about, okay, what should we do next? Taking time to plan and strategize and just envision the future, envision kind of the steps and how to get there. It's one of those things, like a little kind of funny personal story. A few years back, we were doing like an adult weekend away with a few other couples and friends and family and everything. And a little bit before the trip, I sent an email out to everyone in the group and I'm like, okay, I have to go into this weekend with the plan of what we're doing, kind of where are we going for dinner? What are our plans for this day? What are our plans for that day? And I even said in the email, you can ignore this. Things don't have to follow this plan. I will not get upset if we don't follow this plan, but I will stress out if I go into the weekend without thinking through the possibilities of what could happen and what we're going to do. So I was like, ignore this if you want, but here's my thoughts, my planning for the weekend. And so that's all things I do in my business. I plan things out and I'm always thinking ahead. So one of the first things I did that allowed me to have a great month of July, traveling with family and kind of in a way stepping back from some things in my business, is way back at the beginning of the year, I created a plan that allowed me to do so. And there was 2 important things that went on in that plan. The first was I plan out my revenue. What do I want to hit or should I be hitting each month in order to reach my end of year sales goal? And when I was doing this, I said, well, if I want to take some time off in July and not work really hard, not stress about making revenue or certain revenue goals, I should plan for a little bit of a dip. So my revenue was going up, up, up all the way to June. July, a little dip, and then continue going up August through the end of the year. So with that, I planned for my revenue to go down. And why is this important? Because I didn't have to stress out. I didn't have to worry about when I was hanging out with family, what am I going to do to earn another sale? I need to hit this crazy aggressive goal. I said, nope, for the month of July, I'm taking a little dip. I'm okay with earning less in July because in order to hit that goal at the end of the year, I know I'm going to make it up during other months. So that was step 1 of my plan. The other thing I did for planning was I knew I wanted to have an employee by summer. And that meant if I wanted someone by summer who could help me out when I was taking time off, I needed to hire them and have them trained before summer. So I made sure when I was setting out my hiring plan, my onboarding plan, going back from July, beginning of July, end of June, going back to this, like, this is the date I need to post a job. This is the date I need to make my hiring decision by. This is the date I need someone to start. So I planned all that out. So I knew I would be in a good place that, one, I wouldn't be stressing about revenue over the summer, but my business could still grow and I wouldn't be giving things up. And then two, that I would have an employee by summer to help me out where I needed so I could really enjoy time with family. So all that we put into plan. I hired my employee. She started in May. So we did end of May, all of June training for her to be helping me out by the time end of June, beginning of July came, and I was taking a lot of time with family in July. So that planning is the first thing. And that's one thing you have to do. If you want to take some time where you're going to step out of your business and let other people run it, you got to plan for it. What is that going to look like? And maybe for you, it doesn't mean that there's going to be a dip in revenue because the person you're going to bring in is going to help fill your shoes for that time bringing in revenue. So maybe it's just you need a plan to get that team member in there. What are things going to look like? When are you don't want it to be like, okay, tomorrow I'm going to be gone for 4 weeks. Goodbye, good luck. You want to plan things out. So that's step number one that I did that helped me have the most fantastic month of July traveling with my family. Thing number two was actually hiring an employee, right? I couldn't have done what I did. I couldn't have served the clients that I served in the month of July without having someone helping me, or I would have had to be up super late every night working after my family went to bed, or I would have had to say, no, I'm sorry, I can't do this. I can't experience that with you because I need to work 10 hours today instead of 5 to 6. So I had to make sure that I hired an employee, and I had to make sure I was hiring the right person who was going to be able to help me with the things I needed help with, right? So it just wasn't getting a body in my business to do tasks. It was making sure that I hired the person who I could trust to do the work that needed to get done and had the skills to do the work that needed to get done. So I hired, right? It's one of those things that you have to sometimes make this choice in business. Either you keep doing everything yourself or you get someone to help you. And when you get someone to help you, it means you don't have to do certain things, which means you can then take time off and things are still getting done in your business. So hiring was step 2. And then step 3 was actually delegating. I can't tell you how many business owners I talk to where they hire somebody and then they're too afraid to give up the reins of anything. They don't trust that their employees are going to be able to do the work. So they hold on to things. They're too terrified to let things go. And then they're checking everything like meticulously behind their employee, or they just don't want to say, here you go. And so the third thing that I did was I actually delegated. I said, this is the work that you're going to do. Now, it wasn't like the first project I said, here you go. This is all on you. Good luck. We did things together. We posted jobs together. We reviewed some candidates together. I then had her review some candidates and I reviewed some candidates, and we matched our results. Then she would do it and then would just review the results with me. And finally got to the point where I said, hey, for reviewing resumes, I trust you. Review the resumes. Go, and the people you think are good enough for an interview, reach out to them and schedule the interviews, where I wasn't involved anymore unless she needed. We had touch points. So we made sure we had touch points where she could ask questions and we could review things together. But I gave up the control of certain tasks. Now, I didn't let go of everything. Now, for me, at this point in my business for the summer, I couldn't say, peace out, I'm going to be out of touch for 2 weeks, do everything on your own. I haven't built that team yet where I could do that. I still needed to be involved with a lot of the client work, a lot of the really strategic client work, or actually completing interviews for our recruiting clients or meeting with the clients one-on-one. But there was stuff that goes on behind the scenes that I didn't have to do. When we identified candidates that were worthy of interviews, phone screens, yes, I was completing the phone screen. I was actually getting on that Zoom meeting with the candidate and then writing the interview notes, but I didn't have to be the one to reach out to that person to schedule the interview. So I delegated those tasks. I handed it off. So I had a team member do it. So when I was enjoying time with my family, work was still getting done within my business that I didn't have to do, and I didn't feel the need to check behind every little detail because I planned, I hired the right person, and then I delegated to that person instead of holding on to everything myself. So, but let me tell you something else that I think I alluded to a little bit that happened in July. So let's go back to June. I had told my employee, you know what? I'm going to be taking a bunch of time off in July. And right now we have some projects and everything that we're wrapping up. I think I'm going to say, I'm not going to focus on sales in July. We're going to wrap up with our clients, and then we're going to focus on some internal projects that have kind of been sitting there that I want to get done that we haven't had an opportunity to do because we've had so much client work going on and everything. So I was like, we're going to take July to focus internally and prepare for a record-breaking fall. And that didn't happen. We said it. We said we were going to do it. July ended up being my highest sales month ever. And like I said, when I planned for a dip in July. I ended up doubling what my goal was for July. So if my little low goal, well, I guess it wasn't too little because it was actually way higher than what I made last year in July. But this goal that I had, I said, okay, we're going to forget it completely. And we ended up doubling what it was. So things were crazy. And of course we succeeded. I was able to do all that and still spend time with my family because of the fact that I had this team member helping me. I had this team member that was fully trained and everything. I planned out to make sure that she was going to be able to be trained by that right date. I focused on training her, got everything done, so that way she could be helping with that work. Now, I will also say that it just so happened to be when their kickoff calls were going on, when clients could meet because they were also traveling over the summer, things ended up working out really well for the timing and the days that I was going to be off as well. So everything happened to align. But here's the crazy thing about it. Double the revenue goal, highest sales month ever for the month of July. And I did it while taking time off. I don't think there was 1 week in July where I worked every day. And even some of those other days in between, I was working shorter days because I was going to spend time with the family. We were going hiking. We went to an amusement park. We met up with other family when we were in other states, and we had fun. And I was able to do that and have my highest sales month ever, which proved to me the fact that, yeah, I know, but sometimes you don't believe it or you don't really see it in your own business until it actually happens, that because I have a team member, I can serve more clients. I can take on more business. I can easily grow that revenue because some of the work, some of the time-consuming, tedious tasks were taking off my plate, and I had someone helping me out with those items. So that way I could focus on the higher level, like strategic tasks that still need my attention right now. Maybe in the future, I'll be able to hand some of those tasks off to a team member. But right now, they're the things that I need to hold on to. So because I had that amazing team member, we hit our highest sales month ever, doubled our sales goal that we originally set for that month, and did it with ease. I didn't stress out. Some of the days when I did take off completely, like when I was camping and really didn't have I had some phone signal, but not data signal. I was able to say, hey, can you be my backup on my email and then text me or call me if something needs my attention? Because I'm growing my own team. I was not feeling handcuffed to my business where I couldn't take time off. So summer is about to wrap up and we're starting to go into the fall months and starting to get to the end of the year, where between the end of November and December, there are a lot of holidays. And you might be starting to think, well, I want to take time off. I want to travel to see family. I want to do this. If that's the case, you need to start hiring and planning now so you can have a team member that's trained so they can be helping with things behind the scenes to either get projects done faster or help serve people and help keep things moving when you're done. So if you're ready to get started and you need help getting that team member, figuring out what that position should be and identifying the right person from the pool of candidates that you should hire, let's talk. Let's jump on a hiring jumpstart call and let's get it started so you can have that success in your business too. So you can be making amazing revenue goals, smashing those goals while working less and enjoying life. Are you ready to hire a new team member for your business and you want to ensure you hire the person who can succeed in the role, make you happy, and positively impact your bottom line? Then set up time and let's talk, because this is exactly how I help business owners like you. When you go through my Hire framework, not only will you learn how to attract candidates who have the passion you desire, but you'll be able to identify and select candidates who have the skills you need and can succeed in the role. Going through this consulting process not only helps you find the right new hire for your current open position, but it teaches you how to repeat this process with every new position you add to your company as it continues to grow. So if you're a small business owner who is ready to hire, has a rough idea of the position you need to add, and you're tired of going through the hiring process only to end up with bad fitting team members, then let's talk. Send me an email at jamie@growingyourteam.com. That's Jamie, Jamie, @growingyourteam.com, or head on over to growingyourteam.com/jumpstart and let's talk about your hiring needs.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Growing Your Team with your host, Jamie Van Kuyk. Be sure to subscribe and head on over to growingyourteam.com to connect, access the show notes, and discover more ways to hire and leverage your perfect fit team.